Good evening. My name is Burchette. I'm here with RAINEY'S Productions. Today we are here at the Kuntu Repertory Theater. They are having a performance, Ma Rainey. It's here at the Carnegie Library Museum here in Homewood. And right next to me I have Dr. Vernell Lillie. And I wanted to ask her a few questions about the performance and then also to get some feedback so that you guys can come out and support and get some behind the scenes of what's going on back here. So what made you decide to bring Ma Rainey to the stage?
Well, I was with August and Rob Penny when they were members of the Kuntu Writers Workshop.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the show originally in 1987.
Okay.
And this copy, this version that we're doing, is a part of that version that August probably originally submitted to Yale.
Now, for those who are not familiar with the play, can you give us some background history on what?
Ma Rainey is a famous historical character who lived in Memphis and was a Southern, they called her the mother of the blues.
Mm-hmm.
Many people talk about her having such a strong spirit and all of that, but she was a great blues singer.
Mm-hmm.
And she was also recording her things in the North.
Okay.
And so, of course, the process here that we have is Ma Rainey is recording in the studio.
Okay.
And then there's some conflict with the manager as well as with the producer of it. But Ma Rainey is a really strong woman. Unfortunately, so many people portray Ma as a really, really harsh individual. And I don't see how they want to portray it, particularly in August's version, because August has Ma bringing the son, the nephew, who stutters, and in the studio with studio time, gets musicians. But the fact that she cares so deeply for her nephew, she feels that his doing this kind of work will help him stop stuttering.
Okay.
And he manages to succeed in that for that moment in time. And then there is some conflict with a young guy named Lillie, who really wants, I think he's maybe a precursor to jazz. And so he's thinking that he can get the contract that Ma has with the same company. What he fails to realize in his anger and trying to push forward is that Ma is a really strong woman and a very slick operator. She does not sign the release, and when they come down trying to cheat her of some monies and all of those other things, they have to change their mind because she has not signed and they cannot release. And then I play Ma Rainey differently than I think the majority of individuals. They play her as harsh without her having a loving streak and all of those kinds of things. They also overplay for me the fact that she has a female lover. And that's just a part of Ma's life. It is just not her whole life. And so I've tried to do that. And I think this cast succeeds. I have two young men from New York who are participating in the show. And then I have a number of individuals who are around Pittsburgh who are performing in it. And so I'm just having a good time.
So what about this play makes it relatable to all ages and all different people?
Ma Rainey is a historical figure. She lived. And she was a woman who made a fortune selling and doing her records and being recorded. In some instances, August has her recording up north, but she is indeed from Memphis, Tennessee, and so she has many kind of recording venues. I'm from Texas, and so you had Don Roby's Peacock Recording Company. In Memphis, you had the recording companies that were black owned and black managed that did B.B. King. And so historically, August chose to do this as a conflict with a white company, but it didn't have to be that way. And it could have been that way.
Okay, so what are some of the other things that you have coming up besides the Ma Rainey play? What are some other things that people can expect from the Kuntu Repertory Theater?
Well, we've got 2 shows to go. We call this season Something Old and Something New.
Okay.
And so we did Ma Rainey's Black Bottom as a part of the old, and we did, before we did this one, Rob Penny's Little Willie Armstrong Jones, which was the one that we started the company with, and that was in 1974.
Can you tell us what are some things that people can expect from the Kuntu Repertory Theater?
Well, we've just finished Little Willie Armstrong Jones by Rob Penny. And Rob Penny and August Wilson were very close friends and were great writers, and they founded the Black Horizons Theater. And they also had the Kuntu Writers Workshop. I founded the Kuntu Repertory Theater prior to that time.
Okay.
And so they took the name Kuntu from our title, which was coined by Paul Carter Harrison. And I think that we started in 1974. The Kuntu Writers Workshop started somewhere around 1976 or maybe 77. And that went on until we lost both Rob and August. There are still some gentlemen there. Now, what we're going to do is something new, which is a piece that I commissioned from Hightower, who was originally a part of the Black Horizons Theater. And he wrote for us, I wanted it, Just Call Me Carol, because this is a flamboyant woman who has done a great deal at Pitt in the anthropology department. And the playwright refused my title. He named it The House That Carol Built. And instead of building it completely around her, it was, she has a son who is autistic, and I'm so thrilled. And he had a chance to see himself the way in which we portrayed him. And this autistic young man is a brilliant student. He graduated from Penn Hills High School, and he was in the traditional math program and all of those things. And so I've learned to live with the title, The House That Carol Built. And so that will be that. And then the 2 plays that led me to Black theater. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I had a young man who said to me, why don't you do some Black plays? And he wanted me to do the Baraka plays and the Bullens. And I just told him, I said, hey, I gotta eat and I gotta live, and I cannot do some of these plays with the language that's in them. And so I found, one weekend I read 45 Black plays. And so the 2 that I chose is A Day of Absence and Happy Ending. And they are beautiful things. We always talk about somebody wanting to be white. In one of the plays, we discover that suddenly some people disappear. And all of those who have been passing for white disappear. The mayor disappears, the police chief disappears, and we discovered that all of them had some Black blood, and they were simply passing for white. And so that led me into Black theater, and I have not done any other things since then.
If someone is interested in figuring out or becoming more familiar with Black plays, how would you recommend that they get started? What are some of the things or plays that they should read just to get their feet wet in the artistic and creative background of Black plays?
Well, you've got about 25 excellent writers here, and many of them are published, and they're in the library. Rob Penny has been published extensively by Woody King Jr. August Wilson, that is the one name. You've got Lorraine Hansberry, who has several kinds of plays. Then there's a Paul Carter Harrison. And then you can just really go in, Black female writers, Black writers. Pittsburgh has produced a large number of poets, playwrights. However, we listen to a great deal of sometimes what happens into I think, when we think of the white world.
Mm-hmm.
And so we only accept one great writer, you know. So we know Lorraine Hansberry, we know August Wilson, you know, and so that's one of the problems. And that you can just go to the internet and write, black playwrights, females, males, and there are volumes of writers. Baraka, Bullens, some of the Jet magazines will mention a number of them. Roads to the Mountaintop, just called on Broadway. And so there are plenty of writers. Pittsburgh, and Pennsylvania has produced a large number of writers. You've got Temple University with creative writing programs. At the University of Pittsburgh, you have people like Marta Effinger, Dina Taylor, who came out of the University of Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. And so the library.
There's many resources,
yes,
basically. For
yes.
Right.
And the library is the first place to start.
So what made you, because now this is going to be the stage or house that all of the Kuntu Repertory theater performances will be held, correct?
Yes, we're hoping the library, and then the audience has just, you know, it was amazing how folk would say how easy and accessible this is.
Yes.
And we have had large audiences,
Mm-hmm.
tell you. It was thrilling. Today was a near full house and all the way.
So can you tell me what days you have left that performances will be held?
It's Thursday, and so we only have 2 more days.
Okay.
And and you need to get your tickets and come in early.
Right.
Because it's only seats about 350 here.
Now all of your performances, will they be held in the evening, or will you have daytime performances?
We have
as
some
well?
matinee performances.
Okay.
We used it last week. We will do, say, a Wednesday performance for students,
Mm-hmm.
but they would need to check with us. And they could still call our traditional number.
Okay, would you like to
412
Uh-huh.
624
Mm-hmm.
8498.
Okay.
And Iris Harrison, who is our managing director, can always tell you when and what.
Do you also have a website?
Yes, we have a website, Kuntu Repertory Theater.
Okay. So either call the phone number that Dr. Vernell Lillie provided, which is 412
624 8498.
or you can go to the Kuntu Repertory Theater.com or the .org.
.com, I think
.com.
it is.
No. .org.
And that will be a place where you can go and find listings of shows that are coming up, times, and dates.
Okay. And if we get the rights, we know that we will start the next season with a piece by Rob Penny.
Okay.
And we'll just have to get the rights to get that approved.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking for something to do, something that will give you an opportunity to go back in time and just to see yourself on stage, I suggest that you come to the Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh here in Homewood. Check out the Kuntu Repertory Theater. They have a play on stage right now called Ma Rainey. It's a phenomenal play. You'll see a phenomenal cast, and you will also hear a great story. Thank you for tuning in to BrothaAshProductions.com. Hey, this is Brooke. I'm here with Brotha Ash Productions. We're here at the Kuntu Repertory Theater here at the Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh, Homewood. I'm here with Mr. Charles Timbers. How are you this evening?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fabulous. Can you tell me a little bit about your character, Cutler?
Well, Cutler is the leader of the band. Actually, he's not the oldest member of the band, but he's the leader of the band. He's been with Ma Rainey for quite a few years. Cutler's set in his ways. He's complacent with where he's at, in opposed to Levy, who wants everything yesterday. So he's reserved. He sits back and he does what Ma says. And him and Ma have a very close relationship.
Okay. Now, how long have you been with the Kuntu Repertory Theater?
God, from the early 90s, I believe, like 1991 or 92. I did my first show with Kuntu I played Billy Eckstein in The Crawford Grill Presents Billie Holiday with Sandy Dow.
Okay. So what are some of the other work that you've done? I know you were in the Jacksons movie.
I played Dr. Hayes in the Jacksons movie. I've done theater and live with Tony Danza and Samuel Jackson, and then multiple industrial films and some commercials, and a lot of stage with Pittsburgh Playwrights Theater, Mark Southers, Eileen Moore's New Horizons Theater with Joyce Moore, and of course Kuntu.
Okay. Now, what would you say that you enjoy most? Is it film or the live stage performances?
Live stage performance. I mean, you get that immediate gratification with the audience being there. In film, you know, it's like take, retake, and you really don't have that audience there watching except for the cast and the crew. But I like live theater.
Okay. Now, what would you say to someone who's watching this who is looking for a play to come out and see? What would you say to them about Ma Rainey and why they should come see it?
There are a lot of social issues that are dealt with in Ma Rainey's, and I think a lot of young African Americans should really come out and see it. There's a situation in there where Levy is a young man and he has a lot of displaced anger, and that's happening in our community right now because of a lot of young people. They displace that anger and target the wrong people. So I think a lot of our young African Americans should come and see this, because things are still happening today, even though it's 2012 and we have an African American president. There's still a lot of racism.
Okay. So thank you so much for your time,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Timbers, and have a wonderful performance.
Thank you.
Hey, this is your girl Brooke, Burchette. I'm here with RAINEY'S Productions. We're checking out the Kuntu Repertory Theater, Ma Rainey, here at the Carnegie Library Museum of Pittsburgh, Homewood. Come out, see a great performance and a great play. Good evening. I'm here with RAINEY'S Productions. My name is Brooke Brochet. We're here at the Kuntu Repertory Theater performance of Ma Rainey here at the Carnegie Library Museum of Pittsburgh in Homewood. I'm here with the main character. Her name is Miss Terry Bridget. She plays Ma Rainey. Miss Terry, how long have you been with the Kuntu Repertory Theater?
I actually started with them in 1990.
Okay. And since that time, you've been in 3 of their plays, correct?
I've been in 3 of the August Wilson plays,
Okay.
yes.
And what plays were those?
That was, oh dear. Oh wow, you got me on the spot. 7 Guitars, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and Joe Turner Come and Gone.
Okay. Now, what sets Ma Rainey apart from those other plays?
Ma Rainey she is such a strong woman. And to be able to play her role, you have to be aware of what your directors want, because each director wants something a little different. And Ma, people expect her to sing a lot in the show, but she really doesn't sing as much as they would want. And but she handles her business. She grew up knowing the business because she's been an entertainer most of her life. And to be able to order people around and get what you want when you know what they will or will not do for you, that gives her so much power. And I think that's what sets Ma Rainey apart. Bertha was more of a sweet person caring about others. Ma cares about others, but Bertha in Joe Turner Come and Gone, she does not have to put up with a lot of the negativity that Ma Rainey does, because she's not out in the business world. And in 7 Guitars, I was the snappy, sassy aunt to Ruby, and that was her character. She was sassy and she had lived life.
What would you say is different about the way Ma Rainey is portrayed in this particular performance versus what other directors or other performances have shown of this character?
Well, I had the opportunity to play Ma Rainey for the Pittsburgh Playwrights Theater Company. And at that time, I yelled a lot. And the beauty of the relationship with the nephew was not focused on the caring side. I had a relationship, Yes, but in this particular show, I really get an opportunity to show the love that Ma really does have for her nephew, the love she has for her band. The interaction with Cutler is stronger, there's more fun interjected there, and that was Dr. Lillie's vision. She wanted Ma to be seen as a brilliant woman, smart enough to know not to sign any papers until you get everything you want. And that.
So you would say
tough.
that the Kuntu Repertory Theater, or Dr. Lillie per se, is providing the audience with more versatility and showing the diversity that Ma Rainey possesses versus other plays that may have just put her in a single category.
Yes.
So she's more developed,
Right.
you would say.
I would say.
Okay. What have been some of the things that you've learned through performing Ma Rainey this second time around?
Well, I didn't have to focus in on the relationship between Dusty May as much. You know that Dusty May is Ma's gal, but it's subtly done, and it's handled more professionally, I think, as opposed to being all over and all this. And you know, I don't have to go through all of that.
Right.
and I did more of that kind of a thing the first time I played the role.
Okay.
And then I'm older now too, and I've been through other things which helped me as an actor to bring something new too.
Okay. What do you enjoy about performing on the stage?
Just being in control of the people, the responses from the audience. I love it. And then that energy that you get from the audience, and I love to sing. So I'm excited about that as well.
Are there some things that people can expect coming up that you'll be performing in?
Well, not that I know of right now. Due to my previous illness in last year, this is the first role that I've accepted, and I'm going to audition for a few plays, but I'll be just as happy teaching my little class.
Well, you heard it firsthand from Miss Ma Rainey. She's been played by Miss Terry Bridget. She's a phenomenal woman, as you can see. Come out and support and see this character as she develops and opens up and shows you many different sides of who she is, representing a strong woman who's about her business, but also represents that love and nurturing side that many of us can get in touch with. So please come out and support the Kuntu Repertory Theater. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great performance tonight.
Thank you.
Come out to the Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh here in Homewood. Have a good evening.